Hello everyone, this is the last section of the video. I apologize for it being a little bit jumbled up. I recorded it over several days and I've tried to piece it back together as best as I can. This is the last section on Stargates and portals. I'm going to read something to you that I found on Reddit. And I'm not saying that it's 100% true, I'm just reading it for you to take into your consideration. I haven't been able to research this subject much further, but I found a topic on Reddit called, "Is there anyone here who has extensive knowledge about Stargates, aka travel portals?" And see, travel portals can be taken as different things. Like as I was saying in this video, it can be even just an energetic opening into another dimensional realm. It doesn't actually have to be contained inside of a constructed gate. These ones are kind of like maybe artificially, intentionally created through the manipulation of energies, yeah? So let's just read this. It says, "I've just begun to do some research on this topic." It says, "One thing I know for sure is that the show Stargate was officially sanctioned by the US military. If you search up anything about Stargates, you will only find stuff related to the show. This is how disinformation campaigns work. I believe that show was only there to bury real stuff the military wanted hidden. I also believe that there was a gate found in the ocean in 2023, and they created a disinformation campaign to distract the media from heavy military presence in the oceans. That's what the Ocean Gate implosion was, a distraction. Every ancient civilization talks about a god that came from the sea and gave humanity advanced knowledge or technology. Egypt, for example, got their knowledge from Thoth, who was supposedly an Atlantean. Search up the Emerald Tablet. This artifact was given to the Egyptians by Thoth, and it's basically the Promethean fire of mythology. The Aztecs also built pyramids, and historians don't really know where the Aztecs originated from, but the Aztecs believe their ancestors came from an underwater realm called Aztlan, and some people believe that Aztlan is Atlantis. They also describe Atlantis as a city made of crystal like emerald. In The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy travels to a realm with an emerald city, walking by a yellow brick road. Look up Bimini Road. It's an underwater rock formation that literally looks like a giant yellow brick road, and there is speculation that its road leads to Atlantis. I believe that the Emerald Tablet was the tablet that God gave Moses. It's the same tablet that was in the Ark of the Covenant. It's why he who possessed the Ark had power over any nation. It's also something Hitler was very much aware of and was actively searching for." And the next comment is the show was not only sanctioned, the Stargate show, they worked very, very closely with the Department of Defense. Although any time a show wants to use military personnel and equipment, they have to go through the DoD Entertainment Liaison Office. There was talk through the original Gulf invasion was about the Stargate they had there. And then the next comment is, "Watch the 1994 Stargate movie. The whole Gulf War in 1991, which my uncle was part of, was to get the discovered Stargate out of Iraq. The whole thing of Kuwait and Desert Storm operation is just noise for the dummies." The next comment says, "It seems the Sumerian god Enki was allowed to use or had control over Stargates. That sounds like an unhinged thing to say until you know this. Enki was said to be the lord of Abzu. Conventionally, they translated Ab as water and Zu as deep, so that would be a being of the water. So they take the term as referring to fresh water from underground aquifers, which was considered sacred. I think that's bullshit. Ab does indeed mean water, but it turns out that Zu in Sumerian means either deep or far. Enki's title would then have been Lord of the Far Water. That's a pretty baffling title. And if you think the far waters, that sounds like the oceans beyond the ice wall. Because there's different oceans. That's what it reminded me of. Far water, almost like more land, extraterrestrial, lands beyond the ice wall, from the lands beyond. That's just my personal commentation. It continues on. That is, until you remember how they depicted the Stargate in Stargate, a vertical portal filled with shimmering water that took you to a far place. The movie was itself, of course, a thinly disguised... Oh my God, Salem, what? Hold on a second. My cats are just acting up. Sorry about that. Marvin's doing the horny dance and Salem's all upset. She's in heat, so... where was I? Okay, that is until you remember how they depicted the Stargate in Stargate, the movie. A vertical portal filled with shimmering water that took you to a far place. The movie was itself, of course, a thinly disguised tale about the interactions of the Sumerians with alien gods. Not only that, there's a Sumerian cylinder seal that depicts Enki emerging from a vertical portal filled with shimmering water. Can't even make this stuff up. Zu is generally a word for deep and for to know. And then it says, it's why Bush Jr. invaded Iraq for his globalist pals. The tomb of Gilgamesh was discovered in 2003 by a German archaeologist at the Great Ziggurat of Ur, in what was the city of Nasiriyah, in present-day Dir Dahikar province, Iraq. There was also the raid and looting of unknown artifacts in the Iraq National Museum in Baghdad, right as the U.S. invasion kicked off. The next comment says, all I know is the Stargate DIA project from the 70s, that however is remote viewing. The pic you got looks like the gates from SG-1. So it continues, the fallout of the Stargate caused the destruction of Mars. Now, I don't know what we're getting into here, but the fallout of a Stargate caused the destruction of Mars's atmosphere, and caused the end of the last ice age around 12,000 years ago, when the backlash struck the gate in Atlantis. The fallout of that caused the extinction of many animals and nearly wiped us out as well. If not for the survival of the teachers, we would have been stuck in the Stone Age for millennia more than we already were, and still are for some of the deep tribes. Are you certain it was 12,000 years ago? Someone asked. The Sumerian civilization dates back only to 5,000 years, and they supposedly had a Stargate. So, and we know that the timeline has been greatly altered or erased or made how they want it to look. So I'll continue on. We're at Mike 77774. This is commented 6 months ago. I have heard they have a secret base at Cheyenne Mountain, where they keep one to travel to distant planets. Another one used to be in Antarctica, but they relocated it to Cheyenne Mountain after the first one got beamed up to... Okay. So I'm not sure where we're at here, but it says Thor's spaceship. At first, they thought one can only reach planets in our galaxy, but then they discovered that the seventh chevron could get to a different galaxy. Are they talking about the show now? Yeah, anyway, so There is some interesting stuff that you can find online. I'm just going to open this hidden patent for full body teleportation. Let's see what this is. It's a Google documentation. Full body teleportation system. A pulsed gravitational wave wormhole generator system that teleports a human being through a hyperspace from one location to another. Okay. It's a U.S. patent, inventor John St. Clair. But anyway, I will leave this patent below if you'd like to take a look at it. I've just come across it just now. And I think that should be good. As I said, my uncle was part of the war in Kuwait in Desert Storm. And he is no longer with us. I've talked about that before. But I'd like to say thank you for listening to this video. I hope that you enjoy it. Again, everything that I talk about will be linked below. And there's a comment here that says, I believe our mind's eye, like the pineal gland or third eye, is somewhat of a Stargate, which is true. Okay, bud. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed that. That's the end of the post. I will, like I said, document everything below. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you greatly enjoyed this video as much as I greatly enjoyed making it for you. Take care, everyone. Thank you very much for being here with me today. Have a great day. Bye.